Welcome, everybody, to Lady Laker pregame show. There you see the new campus center behind us, a capacity crowd. And really, this game, we got a doubleheader weekend here as the Lady Lakers will start at 3. That's followed by the men's game tonight. And I am joined by some of the best WTOP has to offer. I've got the best-looking man in broadcasting, Evans, behind me. The tallest man in broadcasting, Ryan Maloney. Gentlemen, how are we doing tonight?
I'm doing great.
How's great? How about you, Ryan? Oh, me too. Well, let's get us started here. Let's talk about this season as a whole. This is the first year Lady Laker hockey has been in play for a long, long time. I think it's 25 years is the stat there. And really, coming into this weekend, 3-1-1, not a bad record. Expectations looking pretty high right now. And you guys just give us pretty much an overview and your feelings about the season, starting with you, Adam. What are you thinking about today's season?
I think they're doing great. I mean, 3-1-1, I don't think you can ask for any more of this team. I mean, they're essentially an expansion team. I mean, they played 25 years ago, but they're coming back, a brand new program, brand new coach, brand new players. So to come in at 3-1-1 into this game against Neumann, a team that is 0-2, they should look to come out of here with a win today. They have had a little bit of struggles, and we'll talk about that later and some aspects of their game. But overall, I think they're playing well to come into this season.
Right. How about you, Ryan? Your thoughts?
I'm finding it very tough to gauge the talent level on either one of these teams right now. Neumann, as you said, Adam, 0-2. However, those two games were against Plattsburgh State, and Plattsburgh State pretty much has run college hockey. They've made a Frozen Four appearance in each of the last 6 years. And as for the Lakers, they have a very young team, to say the least. 2 sophomores. Everyone else is a freshman, including the two-headed monster at goaltender. You've got Hillary Hitchman and Aaron Robson splitting time in goal. Hitchman has got 3 starts so far. Robson has 2. We're not sure which one is going to get the nod tonight.
Personally, I'd go with Robson. She's 2-0 and 0.49 GAA.
Absolutely.
She's played well. I think you stick with the hot hand.
And an insane save percentage, something like 97%.
97%,
they both have impressive statistics. Obviously, Robson with the better, little bit of the edge right now. I would assume, since they're rotating on and off, that she's probably going to get the start tonight, since she's only had 2 starts against Hitchman's 3. But I mean, either one that you go with, you're going to get a solid performance in net, and that's one thing that's really helped propel the Lakers to this 3-1-1 start thus far.
Absolutely, but really, Oswego kind of hit with some bad news, as I just learned today. Jessica O'Grady, I believe the second leading scorer with 6 goals, 1 assist, is out for 1 month with mono, I believe.
She has an illness. Yeah, she'll be out for a month. 6 goals on the team, leads the team this season, and leads the team in power play goals. And you know, they don't have much of a power play, but she's been the threat on that power play. And when you take her away, I think it spells trouble. They're going to need players like, let's see here, girls like Jessica Lister and Jenna Kirkwood. She is the captain to step up and really fill that void, because really Grady and Esposito have been the major threats for this team scoring, and that's got to change if they're going to succeed putting the puck in the net.
He was the only one to score last game in their 3-2 overtime loss with 2 goals in the second period. So people like Esposito, Lister, and Kirkwood, as you said, Adam, they're really going to have to step up here if they're going to fill the gap left by O'Grady.
Really talking about that, I mean, the big power, let's not lie, the big power in this ECAC 3 West is Plattsburgh. Is a team like this, where it's stacked with freshmen, stacked with people that really haven't been there, haven't really taken it to that level. It's a team like this, does that hinder them, or is that a good thing, where they don't know enough that they're not good enough to beat a team like Plattsburgh?
I wouldn't say they're not good enough, but I mean, they're building for the future, and I think you have to start somewhere. It's their first season. You're going to take your licks. And honestly, I like what this team's doing. They're running it up with girls who will be great 3 years down the line. This team has already shown that they can win. They're 3-1-1. So I think, building from a fresh start is the best thing for them.
Oswego's opponent tonight, Neumann, really kind of at an 0-2 record, really kind of deceiving for us, because obviously they faced those St. Plattsburgh Cardinals. Is this kind of the trap game for Oswego? They look at this game and you see, Neumann's 0-2. Maybe we can take the night off, or do you expect the Lakers to come out here firing and ready to go?
You know what? I think they'll come out firing, because yes, they're 0-2, but like you said, they played a team like Plattsburgh, and they know that. And I think they're going to go after them. And you really need to walk out of here with a win for your Oswego, I think. You're 3-1-1 at this point in the year. This could be the cornerstone, the turning point of the season to really head forward into the next couple of games. And I think if they can win this game, it'll be a positive message. It'll be a positive, thing to look at for other teams around the SUNYAC or or not the SEWEC, the ECAC West, the division they're in, to build on it and to shoot for Oswego, to take them down.
Yeah, I don't think you're going to see any letdown here whatsoever. This is gut check time for the Lady Lakers right now. They're missing their leading goal scorer. They know that they're in trouble right now. Some players need to fill the gap left by O'Grady. They need to get as many wins as they possibly can before they get into the bulk of their schedule, facing tough teams like Elmira and Plattsburgh State, as we've mentioned a couple of times earlier.
Well, thank you. That is going to do it for this first segment, and it's raining outside, and that's not a good thing. You stay home, you wrap yourself in a nice blanket and watch us, and we'll be back after this break. We're going to preview this upcoming game, and we're going to talk a little bit what the Lakers got to do to win this one, as this is a doubleheader here tonight. Oswego, the men's team, and the women's team, come back after this. And welcome back to the lovely WTOP studios here. Isn't it beautiful?
The sound quality is the best part.
Really, I love it. It's
water supply to the entire it's right up through.
We got an irrigation system above our heads right now. But yeah, we got a little Laker hockey action tonight. Kind of a special weekend as it's a doubleheader. The Lady Lakers play at 3. They face the Neumann Lady Knights, who said chivalry's dead. And then the Oswego men team takes on Buff State tonight. So stay tuned for all of that. But we're talking a little Lady Lakers, and we're going to kind of tune into this game here tonight against the Neumann Ice Knights. And we're going to talk a little bit, Adam, what has been the reason for the Lakers' success? You look down, as we said, you look down their roster, a lot of freshmen, only 2 sophomores, not an experienced team. How are they getting the job done?
Experience hasn't been their factor, but Chris, if you look down their scouting has really been key in this. They have players from New York, such as Stephanie Esposito, and also local players such as Hillary Hitchman, the goaltender from Potsdam, and some Syracuse products, Misty May or Mackenzie May rather, and Colleen Fisher. But then they've taken the extra step, the scouting department. They've gone to all lengths to get players from different regions. You go to Western New York, you pick up Stephanie Christofowitz from Depew, and you also have a girl from Jamestown on the team, Danielle Rossler. And then they've gone up to Canada, and really that's been their key main player front here. I'm
the
sorry.
Player fits all right.
You got O'Grady, and you got the captain of the team, Jenna Kirkwood. She came from Chilliwack, British Columbia, and also another player, Angie Friesen, from there. And then they've gone as far as Texas and Alaska to get players. I mean, that just shows how much this scouting staff and the coach is dedicated to getting players from all across the globe to really put together this team and to put up an excellent team.
How big is it regionally? I mean, obviously there's going to be different hockey hotspots. How big is it? Does it really matter where you go to get these players, or is it just these hotspots that produce good hockey play?
There are hotspots, but I think it does matter. I mean, there's a lot of talent up north. I mean,
right.
Canada is hockey country, and if you get half your team from there, I mean, you can really build a winner. Not saying that you can't build it from local talent, but I think it really helps to go that extra mile.
So Ryan, you wouldn't go to Texas to find the next big Wayne Gretzky in hockey, would you?
And in any sport, recruiting, a big thing with recruiting is pipelines. You want to go to an area where there's a lot of great talent, and the more players you get to commit to your school from that area, the more players from that area are going to follow suit. And they're going to wonder why are so many of the kids that I played against, kids that I played with, going to this one school, and they're going to look into it, obviously. So pipelining a huge thing in football. In football, you would go to Texas.
Right.
Not hockey.
Not hockey. They got no ice down there.
No, but hockey, they seem to have a lot of Canadians on this team.
Yeah.
And 2 from my hometown, Syracuse, so that's key.
Yeah, well, all right. So they got to be good.
Got to look to the 315.
Well, we got a lot of pipelines in here, but talking about something that we kind of touched on earlier in this broadcast, the goaltending's been something kind of a question mark. They've kind of been giving equal time to the rookie goaltenders. Is it a good thing for these goaltenders to be kind of sharing time, or do you think it's better to have a firm number 1 going in each week? Right?
I would say that since they're both freshmen, you really don't know what you're going to get. Practice can only show you so much. You've got to see them in game action. So I agree with what they're doing right now, splitting the time between Robson and Hitchman. And as time's going to go on, I don't think you're really going to have a clear-cut breakaway winner of the starting job this season. They both seem to have pretty even numbers right now. Obviously, Robson's got that incredible save percentage, 97%. And they both played 1 game against Chatham, so obviously you're going to pad your stats against Chatham, so that cancels out.
Exhibition.
But right now, Robson undefeated. Hitchman was in goal for the loss and the tie. So right now, the nod goes to Robson, but I think over time it's going to even out a little bit more.
Okay.
I like what they're doing also, and I think you really got to find your starter. I mean, they honestly don't know. Like you said, they're both freshmen, and I think it's good what they're doing to give them equal playing time to show what they can do, and then later on down the line, maybe when they're sophomores or juniors, you stick with one of them. You pick one of them as your starter. But I like what they're doing for now. They're kind of feeling out their goaltending situation, and they're both playing well, so, it's been working, so stick with it.
How big, you look at the NHL, you look at some of the teams, obviously the Buffalo Sabres come to mind with their goaltending situation. You've got a clear number one in Ryan Miller, then you've got Martin Biron, who you've got two possible starters for any other teams. Then you go to, look at the San Jose Sharks with Nabokov and Toscala. How big is it, if you're a team, to know that your backup can come and play like a starter, Ryan?
That's very important at any position, not just goaltending. Obviously, as you see, anybody can go down at any given moment, like O'Grady with this unforeseen illness.
Right.
That's something you just can't count on because you're looking out for injuries all the time. But just a natural illness like that is really going to sneak up on you and catch you by surprise, especially one that's going to have you out for at least a month. So it's very important in every position, especially goaltender, to have someone who can pick up the slack if the starter goes down and step right in like a starter.
How about you, Evan? What are your thoughts on having a backup as good as your starter? How big is it for a team?
I think it's huge, and like you said, you say the Sabres in the NHL, and it's worked for them, so why not stick with it? I mean, I'm just glad the fact they have two good quality goaltenders, and that they really don't have a third, so that's all they need. I mean, and I like the way this roster is set up. 21 players, very deep.
Absolutely.
Can you say the backup's name for the Buffalo Sabres again?
Biron. I don't know. It's probably, as you said in one of our
Listen, buddy, on this side of the border, your name is Marty Byrne.
Byrne. You remember that, Marty. It's Marty Byrne. But switching gears here, you look down the list of stats here. Esposito clearly has been one of the offensive leader. Are they going to need more scoring from different players? I mean, really at the top you had O'Grady and Esposito, but once you get past those guys, 4 points for Lister, 4 points for Kirkwood. Lemire has 3 points. Are they going to need these, now with O'Grady out, are they going to need some of these players to step up?
This is gut check time, as I said earlier, for these players. They really have to show what they're about. And they're all freshmen, so, I mean, they all come here looking for an opportunity. This is it. O'Grady's out. It's your leading scorer. So people like, ladies like Lister and Kirkwood are going to need to really get it going. They've each got 2 goals. They're the third highest goal scorers on the team right now. And O'Grady is the runaway leader with 6. The next highest is Esposito with 3. Esposito especially is really going to have to get it going. And Esposito, Lister, and Kirkwood are going to have to find some sort of chemistry to make up for the absence of O'Grady.
You know what? They need more scoring, like you said, and you brought up the point. We've all brought up the point. But I think something that helps them is they have 3 quality lines. Mm-hmm. A lot of teams in women's college hockey only run 2 lines.
Really?
We're so deep that we have 21 players that even with O'Grady out, you can put one girl in to fill in on each void there, and you can run with 3 solid lines. And I think that will help them because they'll be fresher.
All right. And you said, I believe you mentioned that Jessica Lister was the captain of this team. Is that correct?
Jenna Kirkwood.
When you're Jenna Kirkwood and you're facing this team and you obviously see that Jessica O'Grady is how do you talk to these players, get them psyched up? Obviously, O'Grady, a tough loss, especially for a month. You're going to be missing a lot of games. What do you say to your team? If you're the captain, do you lead by example? What do you say to your team to try to get them that everything's going to be all right?
I think you follow Jenna's example. You follow how she plays, and you watch how she plays the game, and you take that into effect, and you do what she does, and you try to become a better player that way.
Yeah, and I don't think these freshmen are going to need any extra motivation. You see a player like that go down, I don't want to say that your eyes light up a little bit, but coming from experience, when you're not a starter, and you see an opportunity like that open up, your eyes definitely get big.
Absolutely.
And you want to show what you can do. So I don't think they're going to need any extra motivation from Kirkwood. They're going to be out there giving it their all tonight.
So when she gets injured, you kind of go up to her with a smile on your face and say, "Boy, I'm sorry. I really apologize." I guess I'm going to have to go. Well, that'll do it for the second segment. We're going to throw it to a break, but coming up, we'll really take a look between Neumann and Oswego, kind of say which one's better, and we will then head to the ice after that. But stay tuned, stay warm, and come back to see us in this third segment here on WTOP Cable Access 96. The Lady Lakers pregame show there you see at the rink, and seats starting to fill in there. Hopefully more people are going to go to the game, but hey, we don't want you to. We want you to stay right here in this studio and watch us sexy WTOPers talk about this game. And let's talk a little bit. Let's break this game down, and first let's talk about which one has really the advantage. Let's start off with offense. Neumann and Oswego. Neumann had some trouble over this week against Plattsburgh. Who gets the nod? Neumann or Oswego? We'll start with you, Ryan Maloney.
Well, very tough to tell, as I said earlier, because Plattsburgh State is a stellar team. There's 6 Frozen Fours in a row. So only 1 goal for Neumann on the season in those 2 games against Plattsburgh State. Right now, we pretty much just have to, by default, give the edge to Oswego on offense.
Would you have to agree, Adam Evans?
Yes, Neumann, like you said, maybe they were facing some tough talent, and maybe it's not a true test, but yeah, you got to give the edge to Oswego. I mean, they definitely put up more goals than Neumann, only 1 goal. So.
Yeah, it was definitely a poor showing by Neumann. Hopefully for Neumann, they show a little better tonight, but Oswego should still edge them out in that. So we'll put a little X on for Oswego. Let's take a look at the defense. Neumann versus Oswego. Adam, which do you see having a better game? Which defense is a better unit?
I think Oswego has an edge in this too. I mean, they played pretty well. They've only lost 1 game in regulation, and it was in overtime, but 1 game on the season. And their defense has been pretty key in this game. I mean, they have pretty strong defensemen in Carly Armstrong and Shea Miller. So I think we have a better front on defense.
Ryan, do you agree?
I'm actually going to have to give the edge to Neumann.
Neumann, all right.
I forgot who we were playing for a minute. But just because they faced arguably the best team in the conference, maybe even in the nation, their first 2 games. So going from seeing Plattsburgh to seeing Oswego is going to be quite a difference. They're used to the premier offense in the league, giving up 10 goals to Plattsburgh State. Oswego State doesn't quite have the offensive power that Plattsburgh State does. So I'm going to give the edge to Neumann on this one.
All right, and we're going to get a little X for Oswego and Neumann because, obviously we're not agreeing there. So now we're going to go to goaltending. Obviously, any good team has good goaltending. Ryan, which do you see having the better goaltending out of these 2 teams?
Again, by default, I'm going to have to go with Oswego State.
Right.
We got the 2-headed monster in Hitchman and Robson. Can't really tell from
we
the 2
don't
games.
really know.
Yeah, Plattsburgh State lit the lamp 10 times against Neumann in the first 2 games. Oswego State has had, as we said multiple times, they've had terrific goaltending in the first 5 games.
It is pretty deceiving since they played Plattsburgh, an excellent team, but you got to go give it to Oswego because they have 2 quality goaltenders in the net.
All right, that's right. So Oswego gets the mark there. And finally, special teams. Oswego having some trouble with their special teams. Does Neumann get it because of that, Adam? Or does Oswego get the by default again with their special teams?
No, this one goes to Neumann. I'm going to tell you why. 3 for 36 on the power play. Unacceptable. Right. You can't have that and consistently win games. They've done it, but I mean, throughout the season, you really got to get that power play going. They do have a good penalty kill at 82.4%, but that power play has been really nagging. I mean, I give it to Neumann.
Okay.
Same reason. 3 for 36 on the power play. That is going to kill you over the long haul. So far, they've been all right with it. 3-1-1 is their record. But that is going to catch up with you if you continue to only execute 8% of your power play opportunities. You can't get away with that for very long.
Well, now I'm going to make you guys the Barry Melrose of Lady Hockey here. You got to predict? What are the predictions for tonight? What do you see Oswego Lady Hockey doing?
I'm going to give them the win. It's going to be a low-scoring game, 2-1. I'm going to go in this game.
All right. And about you, Ryan?
I'm going to go with Neumann tonight. I'm going to say they win it by a score of 3-2.
I'm going to say Oswego with 3-1 that score. I just think that this Oswego team showing some sparks, showing some good stuff for us. And 1 or 2 keys to this game for Oswego. What is it, Ryan? What does Oswego have to do to come out with a W?
One key for this game would be for it to start very soon because I've run out of things to say. So I would say that is the number 1, 2, and 3 big key for me.
Hurry up. That's what we're saying. What about you?
A big key for me is the penalty kill. They've had a good penalty kill all season long, and if players go in the box for them, they've had the ability to shut them down. They need to keep that up and build on that penalty kill to just make it as strong as they can get.
Well, your wish has been answered. We're going to throw it right over to the ring.
Right.
And they're ready to go. So we're going to have Pat Merrigan and Colin Clerkin with the call. We'll be back here with the intermission reports. But gentlemen, take it away. Now you see this beautiful new campus center with a capacity crowd right now. If you're thinking about going on down, I don't think you're going to find any room. But and really, the Oswego Lakers, Lady Lakers, having some problems in this game. Basically, sloppy sloppy play, sloppy passing, shooting, scoring, goaltending. You can really go down the list of everything, Ryan, and really nothing going right for the Lady Lakers tonight. And basically what it all comes down to is one goal was scored, and it wasn't in favor of them. And basically that's what it comes down to. Talk about a little bit about the sloppy play of Oswego so far.
Pretty much everything that we could expect to go wrong has gone wrong. Sloppy skating, sloppy passing, everything. And they're getting outshot at almost a 2-to-1 ratio right now with shots on goal. And also a key injury to Shea Miller, their big 6-foot defenseman. They don't just grow on trees.
No, you can't. You definitely don't find those everywhere.
That's tough to replace. So she's out with what appears to be a left leg injury. She wasn't putting any weight on it when she skated off the ice, so obviously that does not look good.
She was definitely helped off the ice there. What does that do to this team now that all of a sudden one of your blue liners is gone? You have to find some sort of 5D woman combination. Yeah. What does that do to your team? Does it deflate you, or do you find some sort of way to get around it?
Well, as I said earlier in the pregame, these are all young freshmen. They're going to try to find a way around this. They're going to be pumped up. All of them looking for opportunities here to show what they can do. A lot of them haven't had the opportunity. We're only 5 games in of their first year of collegiate hockey. So they'll have no trouble, at least effort-wise, finding someone who's willing to do the job. As far as talent, you're already missing O'Grady, and now Miller goes down. This is going to be tough to recover from.
Obviously, that's the case, and obviously something that Oswego has not done is anything well. Passing was poor. We really didn't see too much of that. People were falling down. Really hasn't been much scoring opportunities, and the scoring opportunities they have, Newmann's been able to counter that with having the shooting lane open, and the goaltenders made the saves. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the scoring opportunities have been few and far between. Newman took advantage of a power play. Neither one of these teams is really great at converting the power plays. Oswego 3 for 36 coming into this game. Coming into this game for Neumann, they were 1 for 16. So it's pretty much 2 of the worst power play opportunists you will see.
That's right. And Oswego, it was one of the keys to the game coming into tonight was will Oswego turn their power play around? And that hasn't happened. No. If you're Coach Dillon going into this break, you're obviously down 1-0, not an insurmountable lead. No. But is it something? What do you do? What do you say? What do you got to get out of your team in this second period?
You've got to go right to Esposito and tell her she needs to make some plays. She is the playmaker on this team. She leads in assists. I know the majority of her assists thus far have come to O'Grady, and she's now out for a month with mono. An illness.
That's right. We don't want to slander anybody here.
So, anyways, she's got to find somebody else that can step up and get the job done. Kirkwood, the captain, or who doesn't have any illnesses that we know of.
Or illnesses, that matter.
Yeah. And these people need Jessica Lister. They need to step up. And Esposito, it really all falls on her shoulders right now. She is the playmaker.
So obviously you're going to be looking to get to the puck to her in the second period for that. Really the goaltending, another question mark coming into this game, had a very questionable goal scored against her on the power play. It was really a shot that nobody was in front, no screen, and the puck just kind of found its way in the net. Does that break the psyche of a goaltender that's really a freshman and someone that realizes their job isn't set in stone?
Exactly. That is the one disadvantage to having a two-headed monster at goaltender. The confidence of either one of these girls can be shattered rather easily on a play like that. You've got to be looking over your shoulder constantly, trying to figure out who's got the edge between you and your competing goaltender. Did I say competing?
I don't know what you did. Can we get a dictionary in here? I don't think that's an actual
replay.
Let's get a replay. Let's see what he said.
If your fellow competing goaltender, you're always looking over your shoulder. So obviously a play like that, it should have been saved rather easily. As you said, no screen, no one in front, just a straight wrist shot that she missed. So
I think we might have a replay of that. If we can get a replay of that, that'd be great. Break that down a little bit of the Neumann goal on the power play. And it was just, as we said, it's one of those goals that if you're a goaltender, you can't give up. I mean, it's one of the, when you're in a scoreless game, if it's a scoreless game, I think we're ready with that replay anytime now. And there you can see it on your screen. It's one of those plays that just finds its way into the net. And if you're a defender, don't you have to figure out some way to block that shot, sacrifice the body, something, right?
Yeah, somebody should be in front of that, and even if nobody gets in front of that, that's got to be a save. Jim Abbott could have saved that. That guy's got one on. So that obviously cannot happen if you're going to win a game like this, or if you're going to get a tie. Then now, if you're Oswego, you're so deflated with injuries right now with your best defenseman and your best goal scorer. Just looking to get a tie right now, just even it up, and then from that point on, I would be pretty complacent with the tie.
Well, actually, what we're going to go to now is something that I saw a lot of in that second period. A pretty sloppy play. This is an awful penalty taken by one of the Oswego players, and it just shows you what. I mean, instead of getting the puck, she takes the body out. That's a penalty that you know is going to be called.
Yeah.
And in a game like this that's so close, you can't have that, can you, Ryan?
No, that's just laziness right there. Maybe a little bit of frustration boiling over. As we've said many times, these are young players.
Right.
So frustration is going to kick in. They're not used to this being down like this for the majority of the game. And it could be showing a little bit right there. Hopefully we won't see more of that. It's going to be called every time. So just got to go for the puck in women's hockey. I don't believe there's any checking allowed.
I don't. As far as I know, body checking is not allowed.
It has to be incidental. It can't be intentional the way it was there. So that can't happen, obviously. If you're trying to stay out of the penalty box, that's one of the keys for them to be successful in this game. They're not doing it.
And they're not playing disciplined. They're not doing what they got to do to win. This one goal, obviously, this is only the second goal scored by Neumann this season.
Yeah.
After that horrific Plattsburgh weekend by them, who obviously it's a big lift for them. Does this add a lot of confidence to this team, saying, hey, that Plattsburgh weekend's behind us. We got an opportunity to win a game here and get on the win column.
Absolutely. You come out of that weekend getting your tails kicked 10-1. It's great to have a lead this late in the game. Going into the third, you're up 1-0. Carolyn Patel with a big goal right there, the junior with his 21st career goal for Neumann. And that's a huge lift. You really need that. Obviously scoring 1 goal in 120 minutes of hockey, that's gonna deflate your ego a little bit.
Right.
So to get one here in the second period, that's a big boost.
All right. We're going to send this over to a break here. We're going to talk, after we get back from the break, we're going to talk a little bit about what Oswego has to do to get back in this game, and really what Neumann has to do to stop them from doing that. You're here watching the Lakers in-game here on WTOP 10, Cable Access 96. Back, but we don't have much time to stay here and talk because we're going to send it back for a little ceremony down at the rink. We're going to Colin and Pat, take it away.
Thank you very much, Chris Hill.
As you can see Linda Cohn in the shot there. The Women's Hockey Hall of Fame here at Oswego.
Quite impressive.
Yeah.
Quite impressive.
And there they go.
They rolled out the green carpet for that one.
All right. Well, that's short and sweet. There's your ceremony. The lady hockey players from the late 70s, early 80s when they had their first team here. Quite a sight.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a league of their own. Where they all come back at the end of the movie. But
good movie.
Let's send it back to the guys inside.
Take it away, guys.
A short ceremony there.
Very touching ceremony.
Did you enjoy that as much as I think? I enjoyed that a lot. Thank you.
Solid technique on rolling back in the black carpet.
They really got that down. They work on that all year.
Yeah, we didn't have it in the budget for a red carpet. We got a black.
We had to get a black. Well, sometimes that's the way it goes. But kind of a weird period for Oswego. Neither team really coming out and doing much of anything, to be quite honest with you, other than take penalties. Close game, lots of penalties, as we said. The parade on its way. Ryan, what were your thoughts for the first period?
Basically, all the things that we touched on in the pregame are exactly what happened. The failure to execute on the power plays for Oswego, and also great goaltending by Hitchman, who's getting the nod over Robson today, especially on that breakaway late in the first period. That's as good as a save as you're going to see in women's hockey. That was very key to keep Oswego in this game, keep it not up at 0 going into the first intermission.
How key is it for Oswego to stay out of the box in this coming up in the second period? Obviously, you got to play 5-on-5 hockey if you want to win. Obviously, when you're taking penalties, you're not going to have that opportunity to score. What do they have to do to stay more disciplined?
They just got to watch themselves with the penalties. It's very important that they stay out of the box today with the absence of O'Grady. They need people like Esposito, who's already got a penalty against her, to really stay out of that box because she's the leading scorer right now. She's the playmaker. She really needs to be on the ice for them to succeed.
Obviously, Hitchman getting the start over Robson. Do you agree with that call? Do you think that Robson may have got the start, or do you just really no opinion on it whatsoever?
I don't know why she didn't get the start. She's got the better stats, and she had the one last start, and I thought they were alternating, and that she would get the third start to even it up with Hitchman. But can't be disappointed with the decision today. Hitchman, as I said earlier, that great breakaway save that we saw to end the first, that's a clutch play, and you need plays like that when you have the scorer like O'Grady out to keep your team in it.
If you're the Oswego coach or the Neumann coach for that matter, what are you saying to your team in that second period, the second intermission? What are you telling them to do? How are you going to snap your team back into this thing?
If you're Oswego, you just got to stay out of that penalty box. You got to preach that, and you need to come out. You're at a man advantage, a woman advantage right now, coming out to start the second period. You really got to come out and execute on those power plays. 8% on the year and falling. It's not getting any better. So you really got to make a statement right now. You got to turn it around on the power plays. If you're Neumann, same thing. Stay out of the box. box. Actually, it doesn't really matter since Oswego's not going to convert anyways. But
Go in the box all you want.
yeah, so it doesn't really matter. If you're Neumann, you just got to tell them that although this isn't the same caliber of team you played against Plattsburgh, you still got to bring the same level of play to the game.
You think last weekend really affected Neumann in the way they play? You think that kind of is it going to motivate them, or is it going to kind of put a damper on this young season?
Yeah, it can go to two extremes. If you start out a season like that against a very good team, sometimes you play a team like that, and the rest of the schedule will seem a lot easier because you face the best to start up. Other times it can shatter your confidence when you get outscored 10-1 in the first two games of the season. So really, we don't know yet what effect that's had on Neumann. But right now, I would lean towards. I think they're seeing that Plattsburgh State was the best that they're going to face all year, and the rest of the schedule will seem a lot easier to them.
You said 6 Frozen Fours for
6 Frozen Fours in a row for Plattsburgh State.
We're looking forward to that game here in Oswego. But Oswego, as we said, lots of penalties. We're going to actually, we got a little surprise here. I'm getting a little call from my little earpiece here that we're going to throw it back to the rink.
All right.
We're going to throw it back to the rink. So, Pat Moore, whoever's taking it, please take it away from me.
You guys in the late 70s.
Okay, you can talk about anything. I don't care.
And welcome back to the Campus Center Ice Arena. I'm Pat Morgan here with Linda Cohn. Thank you for joining us, spending a few minutes with us. What are your reactions to this beautiful facility? Did you ever imagine a building like this?
No, and I wish I could lace them up right now and go out there and play. I'm like so jealous, but I'm so happy for the incredible job President Stanley has done to keep and rejuvenate the hockey program, especially for the women. Last night I saw it for the first time. The guys, what a men's team we have here this year. It's so exciting. And I watched it with my family, and that was really nice to let them know and try to explain to my kids what it was like playing at the old Romney rink and how I froze, how nobody showed up, and then to see the excitement, not only from the campus, from the students, but from the community that come out to watch the teams, both men, and right now as I look around here in the women's crowd, it's like quadrupled the amount of people that we got for our games. So it's really nice to see, Pat.
But you came here for a special event with the Hall of Fame for Oswego. Can you talk about the ceremonies that went on this weekend from last night to today?
Oh, it's been great. I'm very honored, flattered, and all of the above just to be inducted to the Oswego Sports Hall of Fame. I was a goalie, for those who didn't know, and it's just a tremendous, it's been a tremendous time. I've seen one of my fellow inductees is Ann Potter Collins, who was one of my best defensemen I played with, and to see her go in at the same time as me is really cool. But I keep on hearing I'm a pioneer, and it makes me feel like I'm Christopher Columbus and I discovered something and I'm old. But it's really been great. It's great. And again, I cannot believe I'm standing in this incredible facility, and it's so convenient. I want to go back to college in Oswego State.
It's my co-host, Colin.
Hi, Colin.
Nice to meet you.
Same here. So yeah, we were just reminiscing about the good old days, Colin.
Yeah.
Glad for you to show up.
You actually played against our head coach back.
No way.
Didn't you? You mentioned that.
Oh yeah. No, I joked.
Okay.
No, I really did. I could have made that up. I did. As a matter of fact, Diane Dillon played for Cornell, and I always looked forward to the games against Cornell because it was such a challenge. They were so good. They skated circles around our team, but I was always there, the backstop in the net, and I'm serious, I wasn't exaggerating. They averaged about 80 shots on me. Wow. It was great. I would stand on my head, but it was such a great experience. I mean, I think that's probably why I'm so crazy. All those pucks to the head, shot by people like Diane Dillon, that coach now. I told her today if she really needed me, I would suit up, but they're doing all right. It's scoreless at least.
She scoring any goals on you in her career, you think?
Would who? What?
Coach Dillon, she was scoring any goals?
I don't know. When I played Cornell, it was one big blur, so I'm sure she has. And I think she's just being nice and not recalling. But then, you know what? She might have scored one or two. I forgive her, because look at this wonderful job she has now.
So what are your thoughts on bringing this women's program back to SUNY Oswego?
I love it, because here's the thing, and I mentioned this in my speech when I was voted in. Women's hockey is boomed. I mean, I've seen it now with the Olympics. I feel like I was ahead of my time. I wish I would have had an opportunity to try out and be a part of something like that. And then when I was buying my new hockey equipment, because I'm playing deck hockey now, and for those who don't know, no ice, but it's in a rink, same size, but you still got to, dress head to toe. I saw goalie equipment that was pink and white, for little girls, and I'm like, where can I get some of these pads? And they're like, Linda, you're too big for those. But that's that's amazing. To me, that's a result of how far women's hockey, girls hockey has become. And now they know that there are programs in colleges like Oswego State that exist. And that's what brought me to Oswego State. I loved hockey so much. That was my entire life coming out of high school. I played with the boys, and then there was since I knew I couldn't play with the boys in college, it just because the level of play obviously just skyrocketed. At least I knew Oswego State had a women's team, and that's what really drew me here.
So if there was a professional women's league, would you be at ESPN right now, or would you be playing hockey?
A very good question. You know what? I would have to think about it. I've been at ESPN 14 years, and 14 years ago, I think I could still, make the split save, and stack the pads. So, but now I'm just doing it for the deck hockey. So, and I got bruises to prove it. But I love it. It's a good pain. You know that, guys. It's a good pain.
Yeah.
I'd be terrified to get in the box.
Oh, yeah, maybe. I don't know you that well, but don't worry. You would get used to it.
I don't know if I can skate, so. But,
What are your thoughts so far about the game so far?
You know what? It's still amazing. I just love seeing it. It's a scoreless game, but I like to see the progress. I know, for example, I spoke to Diane Dillon yesterday, the coach. She told me they're missing their top player out with mono until about Christmas. So that was tough for her. But it's scoreless and plenty of time to go. So we'll see what happens.
Well, thank you for stopping by. Are you on the NFL Blitz tomorrow?
Actually, I'm off all weekend, so they missed me today doing college football in the studio and NFL Blitz tomorrow. But I will be doing Monday night after the Monday night game. If you want a sweet short hour right after Monday Night Football, turn to ESPN News for post game. Myself and Eric Allen, former Raider, former Saint. It's just me and him talking football about the game and then looking ahead to the next week in the
I like
NFL.
ESPN News better anyway.
Yeah.
So.
You know what? I know you're not saying that just for me because I'll tell you, I did Sports Center for 13 plus years. It has its points, but honestly, guys, it's not the same as it was. And ESPN News, people want it now, fast and first, and highlights, and good analysis and reaction.
No
and that's
more
where you go.
trolls.
Yeah, exactly. I know. I'll see what I can do. I'll talk to the bosses for you. I'll make it happen. Well, good luck with you guys. Great job. Continued success for both of you.
Thank you for coming back.
Okay, anytime.
Enjoy the rest of your trip.
Thanks.
We're going to kick it back inside to Chris Hill, Ryan Maloney, and Adam Evans for more of the in-game report. Be back after this.
Here in the lovely WTOP studios, myself, Ryan Maloney next to me, the tallest man in broadcasting, and I am the sexiest man in broadcasting.
It's a good combination.
We make a good team, that's for sure. But let's get down to business here. Oswego down 1-0 to the Neumann Lady Knights after 2. A kind of a weak power play goal there, and Oswego's got to try to pick themselves up. But there is one hope, a ray of light, isn't there, Ryan? Tell me what that is.
Absolutely. So far this season, 13 of Oswego's 16 goals have come in either the second or third period. So they are a late game team. In the first, they've only had 2 goals on the year. So they take some time to get their legs underneath them to build up the chemistry. But so far this year, as I've said, 13 of their 16 goals in the last 40 minutes. So that's a positive.
If you're Oswego here, how do you generate more offense? Obviously, nothing's going right for you right now. The neutral zone's getting clogged for you. You're not setting up in the zone. How do you defend against that? What do you have to do to break through?
To break through, all I say is give the puck to Esposito and get out of the way. That's really all I want them to do.
I'd agree. Esposito obviously leading this team in points with 8 points.
Yep.
That is huge for them. Oswego, just a couple of fun stats here. Well, not fun for them.
No.
They have not trailed after 2, so this is new waters for them. But trailing after 1, which doesn't really matter, but they lost or they tied that one game. So this is new waters for Oswego. They've never trailed after 2. So we'll see how they respond to that. But just kind of trying to sum up this game here. Penalties, really, they've got to keep out of that box.
Yeah.
And basically, Esposito's the key, isn't it?
Yeah, I would say so. Esposito continued good goaltending. Even though Hitchman did allow that one kind of questionable goal, it's probably some poor goaltending on that play, but she's still being Oswego's being outshot on almost a 2-to-1 ratio, so she's not getting much help. And Oswego's got to do something about that. They got to get more shots on the net. Only 16, I believe, thus far, 2 periods in. So Esposito kind of doing it all, Hitchman doing it all on her own. She saved 25 of 26. That's a good save percentage.
Yeah, it's not bad.
And the one goal she did allow was a power play. So she's doing just about all you could ask of her right now. She's got to get some help.
Just real quickly now, if you're Neumann, you're licking your chops here, you've got a lead. What do you got to do to win this game? Real quickly here.
Right now, I would just say contain.
Lock it down defensively.
And retain possession as long as you can.
All right, and that'll do it for us at the studio. We're going to send it to Pat Morgan and Cohn Clerkin, who have the call for this game. Gentlemen, take it away. Welcome back to the lovely WTOP studios. I am here. I'm Chris Hill, wearing a blue hat, and I am next to Ryan Maloney. What does that look for, Maloney?
I have no idea what you're doing right now.
I don't either.
The blue hat.
I don't know. I think it looks good on me. Do you agree?
Well, I mean, what doesn't look good on you?
Oh, wow. My Maloney has a first name. It's Ryan.
It's what looks good off you that I want to see.
Oh, jeez. Well, we can get to that after the... let's get back down to hockey here as we had an awkward moment there. Basically, what we're talking about right now, it's what we did the entire game because it was a pretty big snore for Oswego, as you put it. Really nothing happened for them. Sloppy play, penalties galore, poor, spotty goaltending. I mean, basically, you could go down the list and really nothing good had for Oswego. What are your thoughts on this game?
Yeah, as you pretty much summed it up, everything that could have gone wrong went wrong. He had another injury, although Shane Miller looks to have recuperated. She came back on the ice for the third period. So that looks to be all right. But without O'Grady, it appears that the offense for the Oswego Lakers is non-existent. She was really the key to everything in that offense. She was the finisher. And now you've got Esposito out there, who is the playmaker, who has nobody to assist to because no one can put the puck, the round black object, the object, that vulcanized rubber object into the net.
So where was Esposito in this game? What happened to her?
You know, in the third period, she did try to make some things happen. It looked out of desperation, as though she was trying to just take over on a few plays. But as Pat Morgan said earlier, they weren't able to trap the puck into the zone all that much. It was pretty much kind of dump and chase, just fire the puck out of the net from the point, and nothing really going on there. So obviously they weren't able to light the lamp tonight, and hopefully it'll be a better luck tomorrow as they face the same Neumann team.
That's right. Hopefully they can get something going. Maybe they felt something today that they feel this team out and get an idea of what they're in for tomorrow. Let's take a little recap here. Hopefully we can get some replays going, but it was not. It started off pretty good for Oswego as there was a nice save that it looked like Hitchman was going to play very, very well after a nice breakaway save. We'll get that replay to you when we get it, but let's talk about it first. Right. And actually, we've got it right here. It's a nice breakaway save in the first period, and
stops the backhand very nicely right there.
That's right. Talk about that save for her.
And obviously, at that point, you got to think that the momentum was swinging in Oswego's favor. Big breakaway save like that—that's huge for your momentum. And it looked like Hitchman was going to have a great game tonight. She pretty much did have a pretty good game. Over 40 shots on goal for Neumann. So
yeah, that's obviously
over 40 saves for Hitchman, and her save percentage was about what it normally is, over 92%.
She did her job tonight, essentially.
Job. So one correction from earlier: the first goal from Neumann was not a power play goal. Only it was 2 seconds after the power play expired. So Oswego's.
Well, we actually got that goal queued up for us.
Do we really?
We do. So let's take a look at that when we can get it up. It was a Neumann goal after a couple seconds after the power play, and one, Ryan, that maybe we both had talked about during the break, that one that should be stopped by Hitchman herself. Was that something that, what could she have done different on that play, or should she have stopped that?
Well, I certainly thought she should have stopped it. I mean, there was really no blockage in front. She had a clean view of it, and she just didn't get a glove on it or a stick or whatever.
She didn't get anything on it.
This TV, I can't even tell which side the puck went to. So.
All right, well, we can just look behind us.
Oh, well,
and we got a monitor back. Who knew? Who knew? And actually, Oswego looking to try to get back in this game. There was one save that stood out to me. It was a Neumann save, and hopefully we can get that replay up, and here we do. So here we go. I can't see who that player is. Takes the shot, and just a big glove save there. And that really, to me, was really kind of a turning point because that was an opportunity Oswego should have cashed in on that they didn't. And it really was one of the only opportunities, wasn't it, Ryan?
Yeah, the opportunities were few and far between tonight. And when your goalie's going to make saves like that, when she's not even really working that hard, she's not facing that many shots,